I'll
great.
be happy to start. Um, my name is Maureen Filler, for those who don't know me. I am the current Program Quality Director for District 57. I do have a background working with the District 57 incentives. I started working with those while I was open house chair about 3 years ago. And that was when we switched from our prior way of processing incentives in our district to something called Incentive Tracker. And I was one of the first users of that system and one of the first approvers in that system way back when. So I've done multiple trainings and workshops. I also worked to promote Incentive Tracker at the convention in Anaheim a year ago. And I've done some other things onboarding different districts to use this process. So I have a lot of background in the Incentive Tracker and working with the incentives. What I do want to say about that is we made some changes this year with the current trio, and we've made the process a little bit easier. It used to be that for all the incentives, irrespective of whether they were club growth, program quality, district director, or public relations, it required an extensive submission process. That is a little bit streamlined now. The other thing is we have it working with an auto approve. So if you do submit something, and all of the criteria are met, the approval goes right up the chain without a lot of waiting in between. So it's much, much more efficient than it used to be. All right. So we're going to talk about the District 57 incentives. We have 3 different incentives types this year. We have ones from the Club Growth Director, which are clearly growing your clubs, adding members and so forth. Club quality or program quality, which are the ones that are the PQD, and it's education types of goals. And then public relations, which are the ones that are done by the PR team. And it's usually something wonderful to promote your club, something new, something adventurous. That's what all these are for. Next slide, please. Now, for the club growth incentives this year, we have add 5 new members, add 5 more. 3+ net growth over the year, and early dues renewals. The next one is coming up to have 8 renewals in by February 15th of 26. Oddly enough, and this is by design, every one of those incentives is tied to the district club program DCP points. When you add members, you grow your club, you pay your dues early, you're checking off DCP points and working towards becoming a distinguished club. All of the incentives work that way this year. Next slide, please. For program quality, again, clearly it's the educational types of goals. 5 level 1s, a bunch of level 2s, level 3s, 4, 5s, and DTMs. We did change the date on the level 2s, and we're going to change some of the dates on the others as we go. Part of it had to do with the changes in pathways that required additional tasks before you could close out a level 2, 3, 4, or 5. So we will be monitoring those dates closely on the incentives. And if it looks like we need to make them a little bit different in the dates to allow for those changes, we will do that. We will address it as we spot them. And of course, getting your officers trained, 7 of 7 is the goal. We just had TLI. Makeup sessions are coming. Look for information on that as I work with all of our division directors to get those dates on the calendar. Complete your successful club activities by February 28th. It was going to be December 31st, but again, some of those activities are tied to some of the changes in pathways. We have to give you appropriate amounts of time to learn those. Host a speechcraft. That's another one that will get you DCP points and get you incentives. Run a special event meeting, or just be an amazing, outstanding club. And we'll see where that goes as clubs do more and more and earn more and more things. And the special events, by the way, it's something that would be useful for a non-Toastmaster, where you could get guests coming in that aren't Toastmasters today that will see what types of workshop and events that we run and decide that maybe this is for them. So the goal is that we gain new members and we strengthen our clubs. A special event could be something like one that we have coming up, Death by PowerPoint, that one of our trio members is going to do. It's a topic that everyone relates to very well. That's next slide, please. And like I said, incentives and DCP goals have the same types of requirements. So as you work towards your DCP goals, your clubs will earn district bucks, and you're of course going to strengthen and energize your club. That's all they're for. Now, the incentives themselves, I'm going to go ahead and share really quick, if that's okay. I'm going to take you right to the incentive website, just so you can kind of see what's there. Okay.
Last slide, Maureen, where those levels, twos and threes, we are talking about individuals, right?
So as you're completing your education goals, you're earning incentives for your club.
Right, right. But in the
Easy.
list was like levels and then twos and threes. So those are fourth level done by two members, correct? That's
Right. Right.
okay. Yeah, just making sure. Yeah.
And the goal is to have all of your members completing education
Yes,
goals
yes,
and
yes.
makes your
Of course,
club
of course.
better. By the way, I love I love your antlers. So good.
That's why
Okay.
I got 2 minutes late, maybe.
Oh
Anyway,
no,
sorry.
it's adorable. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take you to Incentive Tracker really quick. Okay. Now, this is our Incentive Tracker website homepage. And there's a user manual that basically tells you how to log in. If you want to see what your club is doing, there's ways to do that. But you can also check your club's district buck status, and you can check the reports. So we're going to look first at the incentive list. This is what I was basically telling you. Hopefully I get to this. There we go. All right. So this is all the things I was telling you about. And again, some of the dates may be extended due to the increase in requirements. The ones I didn't talk about yet that were not on my slides, I had a crazy last couple of days working, but basically I was going to tell you about what's going on there. We have the Capturing Club Joy, which is something that we have on our calendar coming up, but showing moments of joy in your club. And it's basically making people see just how fun and how inspiring our meetings can be. I believe you can stop me if I'm wrong, Somi. And submitting newsletters after sharing with your club members. So newsletters, we're trying to get those going again. And short, tiny little videos showcasing club spirit. And I think, Hans, you were promoting that heavily. And it's really just a way of getting the word out to the world about how wonderful Toastmasters can be, right? That's all we're doing there, correct? You can stop me.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's what we are.
So
31st of this.
that's what these are. Now, if you want to see how some of this is, kind of look at the reports. Okay, you can log in and you can see looking for your club. So for example, if I show you my club, it's embarrassing. We haven't completed any yet, but we're really, really close. So if you go down to my home club, which is Scope Masters East Bay, but I swear we're going to be close. We're really, really close. And I don't see them on here because we don't have any. It's only the ones that have one. So we're skipped.
You
But if
can
you
do
look at all
our
the different,
club, that's Creart.
yeah, you
Creart
have
has
some,
5
right?
points. We've got
Yes, you
5
do.
points.
Creart is doing really well. You're an example of one that's been doing these things right and left,
But we're also an example of a club with no members who are still getting educational points.
which is fantastic. How are you
Not
doing
really.
that?
We need members desperately. Or we won't be staying a club in good standing. So if
many-
anybody's interested in creativity and art, we'd love to have more members.
And if you weren't conflicting with my meeting, I would check you out, but it's the same time that my club meets, unfortunately. But there's a couple of clubs that are doing amazing stuff, and City Speech has a lot of members and they're extremely active, but you can see they've already done level ones, a whole bunch of level ones. They've done level twos. But 707 training, they've been successful club activities. They've already done it. They've had multiple events in their club. So they're kind of the gold standard. But what they use their district bucks for, and I do know this because I was their division director last year, one of the things that they use it for is for their facility fees, that type of thing. That's what they do. Helps pay for their location. So there's different ways of making that happen.
Maureen, are you going to be explaining the process of how to use the money that we are raising and how to access that?
Yes. And basically, the current process, and Lisa, I know you have concerns and I'll tell you where we are on that. But the current process is that your club would have access to Concur. That's how the district bucks are reimbursed. So basically, if you have, say, $200 in your club account for district bucks, we'll use my club as an example. Last year, we used our district bucks to pay for our annual Zoom fees. The Zoom fees are billed to us somewhere around May of every year. So our goal is to get enough district bucks in our account by May to offset that entire amount. Last year, we were within $10, which isn't too bad. The year before, we paid for the whole thing. So it's not terrible, but that's what we did. So we had our Zoom bill that was paid. Then I went ahead and submitted the bill in Concur, and it went through multiple levels of approval and questions, and then the money was returned to my club account. If you don't have a club bank account, we don't have the answers for you yet, but I will tell you that our finance manager is working with Toastmasters International to figure out how to address that. So that has been escalated way up the chain. I will tell you too that that's also how area and division directors were reimbursed for contest costs last year, was through the use of Concur.
I have a question, Maureen. Since I'm very new here, I'm not very familiar how this Concur account and all this. In a very high level, can you just explain how does it work? So the money first goes, just walk me through the whole thing in a very high level if you can, because I'm not really aware how.
What happens with the Concur thing, or what happens with your expenses?
Yeah. And what is this Concur account? Is the club's account? How does the
Well,
thing?
you have a club bank account if you do, and someone in the club has a Concur
Right.
account set up. At the time, my club Concur account was in my name because I had been the treasurer. So I was the one that set up Concur.
Got it.
And we've been using it for a very long time. I'd actually set up Concur when I was an area director, the last time we had contests in person prior to the pandemic. And that's how I was reimbursed for contest expenses, was Concur.
Okay.
I kept the Concur account active through my time as treasurer and put it to my club account so that my club could get reimbursed for things. So that's,
Okay.
we've had it in use for a long, long time. To set up the Concur account, it does take approximately 10 to 12 business days, depending on what is going on at Toastmasters International. What'll happen is you submit the request for a Concur account. It goes through our finance team and up to TI, and then TI will create your logins, and then you get set up, and then you can start using it. Once you have your Concur account, you want to link it to your club bank account or to a bank account as quickly as you can. That takes about 3 to 4 business days
Okay.
to get that set up. So if you don't have a club account at this point, you can set it up to a personal account and do that. And some people do. It's
Okay.
preferable to use a club account, but if you don't have one, that's the current alternative.
Okay.
You're
Maureen,
nodding.
there's a question in chat. Can you see that, or do you need me to read it to you?
I'm looking at the question now. Looking at the new one. Sorry. Are guidelines available for what we can use? Can we still use mouse refreshments? Yes, you can use it for refreshments, typically for something like that. And we've done that in the past. You can't use it for gift cards and things like that, but we all know that. And typically the guideline for submitting expenses is about 45 days. But ideally, you want to do it quickly. For most things that you're submitting expenses for, you should be able to have a receipt to submit. I would say you'd have one within 30 days for most things. Some things you have that day. So the idea is to gather your receipts and submit them as quickly as you can. It's always good. The other thing is to keep in mind that the end of the Toastmaster year, we have to allow for that. So submissions need to be in before, I would say, the middle of May, and our finance manager might give you a different date, but typically if you have everything submitted by May 15th, you're fine.
Right,
This
and
year
the
with
deadline,
realignment, it might be sooner.
the deadline for all incentives is typically the end of April so that we can accommodate the May 15th.
Yes, exactly. And that's the plan. So ideally what you want to do, and especially as you come into contest season, anything that you do that you want reimbursement for, get your receipts that day. It's really important to do that. I think that's the other way to do it. And if you don't have Concur at the moment, I can go ahead and get the link for you. Give me a second.
I make a request or just a thing. Since incentives is a very powerful thing for, I mean, across any district, I feel since the timeline is coming, like for the video, it is just this month, the 31st of December, and the newsletter and all that in April. I'm sure little bit more of marketing might, remind the members of all the clubs that hey, incentive work on it. I mean, I tell in my area thing, but how much can I reach out? Little bit of more marketing of reminding. Yeah, especially I
It's
push the video a lot because I say, hey, it's just a 1 minute, only one video, work on it, work on it. Yeah, so
and it's a very it becomes simpler as you do it, but that is the link to request a Concur account. And again, it takes approximately 5 to 7 working days, and that is outside of D57's control. It's between the Concur software and Toastmasters International. It's their timeline. Sometimes it's faster, but assume 5 to 7 working days. So if you haven't set up one, the time to start setting up would be as soon as possible so that you're ready to go to submit things during the year. And a lot of clubs are really close to earning incentives that may not even be aware of it because they're entering education goals. The idea is that you complete an education goal, you enter it into Pathways into Basecamp as quickly as you can, you get your approvals in. If everybody is on top of it, you're going to start earning incentives very quickly. That's the point. So that's why you want to be on top of it. Right. And I'm sure we'll add things along the way, but that's where we were starting with. And again, we may modify some of the dates based on the additional requirements for a lot of the levels. They're taking just a little bit longer. It's a couple more speeches, a couple more meeting roles, that type of thing. And that adds to your timeline. Right?
Maureen, you had mentioned that there was a workshop coming up, but as far as I know, we've completed the workshop for short form videos. That was October 28th. And we completed the workshop for our Spreading Club Joy. That was sometime, I think, the beginning of December.
I
And
realized that. Yes, it was.
the only one that we still have left is the newsletter one, and we're not going to do that until a little bit later, but we have been discussing it at various other times. The main thing is that we'd like clubs to do 3 newsletters, preferably 2 months apart. So if you did
Okay.
one in January, you did another one in March, you did another one in May. Well, the May one might be too late. So you really want to make sure that you're doing one before the end of the year, and then one in February, one in April, so that you can get the 3 of them done in time. And if you have any questions about how to do a newsletter, Shalini's amazing. She's going to be joining with us after her class, and
Okay.
she's a really good go-to for that. And Somi is our VPPR incentives chair. So if you have any additional questions, Somi's the one to ask.
Mm-hmm.
I have a follow-up for requesting for Concur. I think I'm a new treasurer and I started this year in July and I was told
Okay.
I should request a Concur and I think I did that and I'm very familiar with the Concur questionnaire just sent, but I haven't heard back for a month. Is there anybody I can follow up?
Can you send me an email and I will get it to the right people?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Send an email to you.
Yes,
Okay, will do. Thanks.
email's in there.
Okay, helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, because we can get that. And I assume that because we had TLI, that questions were going to start coming up. So we will start working on that. And that is honestly all I have about this is the importance of Concur, setting it up correctly. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me and I will get it to the correct people.
Well,
Yeah,
that
it's
was a
very
really
simple but very
useful.
detailed. The dates are easy to follow up. So thanks for the presentation, Maureen.
Well, anytime.
Yeah,
And
that
like I
was
said,
really useful.
I actually did parts of this within my club, explaining Distinguished Club program and the tie-ins with incentives and why it all connects together. And I think my speech there was about 10 minutes and I added more to this. So I knew that I didn't have a huge workshop, but it's a small topic. It's a very small topic. It really is, right? The key really is getting into incentive tracker and poking around and looking at. That's the key. I do think I could show you how to log in to incentive tracker if you haven't already done so. Let me get my login screen up so I can look at this.
Yeah, and there's different login levels. There's login as a club member as opposed to login as an admin. So there's really nothing
Right.
that you can do to hurt it by logging in as a
No.
club member.
And I'm putting in the manual in there because it is informative. It might be mind numbing, but it's kind of informative. The part that matters is that as you scroll down in this, that you're going to see.
Oh, Wing is here.
Hi, Wing.
Hi, Wing.
Okay. So the link is there to get to the instructions, but basically the instructions tell you when you log in with your club, you're going to select your club name and your password. This is the key. It's your club, the word club plus an 8-digit club number. If you have a very old established club, you may have 4 leading zeros. If you have a newer club, you'll have fewer. So be careful to add the leading zeros and then you'll all be able to get in. When you get in and log in, you should be able to see what your club is doing. That's really all it does. And let's see if I can get. So I'm to. It's going to be boring, but I'll show you what the login is. Do, do, do. Okay, so now you can see we haven't earned anything yet. Oh, too bad, so sad, but that's how you get in and you can see the whole dashboard. And you can look at the incentive list from there. You can see what your club is doing. You can sort by category. You can look at, like, say, I want to look at all my program quality things and see what you're doing, right? And like I
Yeah.
said, some of the dates are likely to be altered because of the additional requirements. I promise that we'll be good about that.
There's another screen that's separate from the incentive tracker that you can get to within your club to see which additional speeches a member needs to do in order to earn their level 1. And you might look at that and you might find, oh, Susie only needs one more speech, and then she'll have a level 1 that she can give to our club. Or Mary only needs one more in level 2, or somebody's really close to getting something in a higher level. So by looking at that, especially your VPE of your club can say, you know, Susie, why don't you just do this one more speech? You can even take a table topic and extend it for 5 minutes, and we'll give you credit for doing your final speech. And then you'll have your level one, and then we'll help you to move on to your level two. So it makes it very enticing to be able to say you're going to be able to give our club some money that we can spend on something that our club really needs if you'll just
Yes.
do that one more speech.
And not just a speech. Remember, you need to also pick up roles at your club meetings. It's really important to see where you are on that. So that I believe the goal there is to have people signing up for roles on a consistent basis and varying. I'll be Toastmaster one week, timer the next, then a grammarian, et cetera, et cetera. And what you're doing is you're doing those additional requirements to complete a level.
Yeah, and we're finding that people are taking roles, they just don't want to do speeches in our club. Um, and we even have guests that are willing to come in and do not levels, but roles, and
Right.
then you know that helps. But we need more speeches done, and
We all do.
yeah, so that that's an enticing way. And the other one is leadership speeches that need to be done as you get into
Mhm.
some of your higher levels.
Right.
So it's
And the Better Club series, Successful Club
right.
series, et cetera. There's a lot of different things. And you could do a speech on something on the Better Speaker. You can do one about conquering your fear, impromptu speaking, all sorts of lovely topics, things that we use, but we may not be thinking about, especially if you've been in Toastmasters a long time. You might not think about the techniques you're using, but you're actually doing it. Right. So write the speech.